everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we're taking a look at a game called Flock Together. You are a bunch of wannabe chicken heroes. You're starting off as chicks or small. Are they all chickens?
They're all chicks. They're all baby chickens.
Yeah, you're all baby chickens, and you're fighting every other animal is evil. It feels like.
What's that like on a farm? You know, they're all coming in.
You're eating bugs and fighting off everything else.
Yep.
It's a cooperative game where you're fighting off these mean people, and Z is going to show us how to play it.
Zee is. The game is going to be made up of 3 seasons, each one of them 7 turns long, and at the end of all 3 of those seasons, if we have eliminated all 3 of these predators and the boss predator unrevealed to us at the beginning, we are going to win the game. And of course, we all have to be alive. If we don't manage to do that, then we will lose collectively. So each round is going to go like this. All right, I have 1 player set up here, but this is a game set up for 3. We all begin right here in the coop. All right, and there are various areas outside the coop that we can go to as we move. So at the beginning of a turn, normally this moves. We start right here, so we don't have to do that. If we cross over one of these spaces, say from 2 to 3, or we go from 5 to 6, then there's an egg exchange where you can turn in eggs for food, and there's also a weather change. We do need to worry about that at the very beginning of the game, so we'll flip over this weather card for spring. It is fair weather, and it says if you forage at least once on your turn, you gain some bonus food. All right, very nice. And so now every player is going to have some income, they're going to get some production, and then take 2 actions. So at the beginning, we start as little baby chickens, and we are going to be able to level up. You'll level up to a medium-sized chicken and then fully grown over here. To do that, you are going to be tracking some meals and progressing in your abilities. So, at the beginning, I happen to start with 1 food because I am Wyatt Chirp, and that's his ability. And so, first thing I do is I get 1 food. These are all interchangeable. They all represent 1 food. I get that, and now I get 2 actions, as I said. The actions are down here across the bottom of your player board. And there's quite a few of them. Some of them are limited to being done in the coop. They'll have this symbol in front of them. That's these 3. And some you have to do outside of the coop, which are these 2. The rest can happen in either location, all right? So, the things that you can do on your turn, the 2 actions. You can lay an egg. You take an egg, you put it on your egg reservoir right here. You cannot do that until you've advanced at least to being a middle-sized chicken. You have to do that, by the way, in the coop. You can heal, where you pay your grub and you heal your hearts up here. You have to do that inside the coop as well. And then you can brood. That one's only something you need to worry about if somebody falls in battle. You need to bring them back. You can basically hatch a new chicken for them. You can move. You can pick up your piece and move to a different location. Go anywhere out here. You could go there. You could go there. You could go there. You could even go up here, though there's no need to yet. So you can move inside, outside, to a different area outside. You can draw a bonus card. Bonus cards are up here, and they are wonderful. You can have a hand limit of 2 of those. You can attack if you are with someone. So say I am sitting right here. I could choose to attack. It's going to cost me grub. It's going to cost me food, and I am going to attack. So my strength is right here. It's going to go up as I level myself up. There, it's 2, and so it would cost me 2 food to do an attack of 2 here, though I could pay just 1 and do an attack of 1. And then also as I level up, I'm unlocking new abilities as you see down here on the side, okay? So that's how you attack. It is only possible if I am with the enemy, and then the enemies attack you back. And so if I attacked this character here, they would hit me back for 2, plus there's a possibility that I have to roll a die and deal with some effect affecting me back, all right? You can eat. If you are outside, you eat. That is eating means taking the grub over here, putting it up here, and leveling yourself up. This is your meal counter, and when you get to a certain number, in this case 5 for me for this character, then I could flip over the page, and I am now this level. Once I get to 10 meal counters, I could flip again, all right? That's what that means. And then lastly, you can forage outside, which is gain 1 grub. Take one from the supply and put it there on your food reservoir. So my turn could be my 2 actions, and I begin again with gaining 1 food, as denoted right here. That is the very first thing I do on my turn. I get 1 food, and then I have my 2 actions. I am going to move, and probably the players want to discuss who they'd like to focus on. Maybe I'll move right there, and then I'm going to, maybe I will eat, let's say. And so I can pay food here to increase my meal counter. I would move, let's get rid of that. I would move 1 over here. I am now at 1. That's my 2 actions. I moved, I increased my meal counter. Now the next player would go. Maybe that player wants to go out to the same place I was, but they're going to attack. In this game, instead of attacking one of these characters, you can also attack one of these 2 grubs, okay? I keep calling grubs the food. Our food is actually just our little, food tokens. Grubs are these cards over here. There's 2 different piles. One that you can attack from inside, and a pile you can attack from the outside. And when you defeat them, you take that card and you have a special ability. Sometimes you keep it, sometimes it's a one-shot ability, okay? So my good friend right here, the red chicken, is going to move outside and attack the grub pile outside. So attacking this one here would entail, it's got 1 health, giving up 1 food, okay? Any 1 food they have, and attacking. They pass, assuming they don't mess this up. It says you have to roll a die and you miss your attack on a 1 or a 2. That would be bad. So they're going to roll. So this is the chicken die. It has a little face, which means 6. And that's the 1. I'll let you guess what part of the chicken that is. And then a little wing over here, a little wing over here, a little top, and then the 2 footies for the chicken. We're going to roll. Hopefully not a 1 or a 2. We're good. We got the 6. So we pass and we take that grub. That player's going to keep this. It's going to let them either +2 to their meal counter or +3 food, okay? They keep that. You see the next one revealed there. And they did their 2 actions. They moved and they attack. And then this player maybe will move. And they are going to, they'll move over here. And they're going to grab some food, okay? They're going to forage. Because they forage with fair weather, they get 2 instead of 1. And that's it. Everybody has gone. So now that we've all gone, we have to advance this, the tracker for the days. The first thing we need to do is one of these 2 grubs needs to go away. We decide which one we let go. So let's say we all decide to let the top one from that stack go. We move this over. We start again with, making sure you grab whatever your income is and then take your 2 actions. When that meal counter gets high enough, instead of getting free food at the beginning of your turn, you instead roll to see if you get an egg. And so in this case, based on the chickens, you'll have different abilities. This one is 3 to 6. I get an egg. That's the very first thing I do on my turn. So I'll roll, see if I get it. I put it in the egg reservoir. The eggs generally turn into food, though it's not exclusively what they do. There are abilities that you can utilize the eggs for. And again, the egg exchange happens when we go over this one, and then also at the beginning of a turn. You also have once per season the ability to flip this token over here, this little campfire token, and give yourself a 3rd action on your turn. So you have to decide when you want to do that. And also, as you level up your chicken, you'll have more health. So he began at 3, going to his 2nd level there, he goes to 4. So you want to grab another one of these, and it comes in healthy. So there you go, that's the flow. As we finish out the season, any of these baddies, like I said, that are still around, they're going to level up. And when we take all of them out, then we reveal the big bad over here. We set their health to quite a bit, actually. It's the normal setting for 3 players, but also +3 per player. And then we are going to see if we defeat them. And if we manage to do that, then we win the entire thing.
Okay, this box, you can't see it here, is pretty hefty.
It is really hefty, yeah.
This is, I mean, whatever else you might say about this game, this is stellar production.
Yes.
Maintained in a decent sized box. Not over. People aren't going to say it's overproduced because it's here, it's done.
Yeah.
But Andrew Bosley artwork, the books that open up, the components, the pieces, it's fantastic through and through.
It's very well thought out, and it's deluxeified. There's only one version. It is deluxe, like right out of the box, right off the shelf. But then it's impressive that not only is it in the size box, but it fits so well in this size box. You know, you're not having to like elbow drop it to get in after the end of the game.
Yeah, that's fair. There is no insert though, and there's not really. I think it would be hard to make an insert for this game.
Yeah.
Because everything fits in there comfortably, but the box is full. But I agree with you, Tom. You cannot fault this game for its look and its production.
And the production to include the usability, I think, as well.
Yeah. Big shout out again. I mentioned Andrew Bosley, but I love the growth of the chicks to chickens.
Oh, it's cute.
The way it goes. Less of a shout out to the person who did all the puns and the names, but I guess that's just inevitable for this type of game.
I think they're pretty good, and I actually was about to say I think the humor in this game is pretty good. I like the humor in it. I think it's...
I am not a huge fan of puns, but this one was charming.
They're charming. I think
they
that's what it is. They're not funny. Like, I never read one and sort of guffawed.
Right.
But I'm like, aha.
But a couple times I was like, oh, that was actually clever. All right, I'll give them that. That one's clever. There's some clever ones in there. I really like, too, the baddies because there's multiple of them on the board. When you defeat one, you get their item. And so if you're looking at it and they had a cloak, maybe you get their special cloak, or you get the mask that they had on, or their staff, something like that.
That's not something I showed in the overview, but when you take out one of the baddies, you get something from them if you deal the killing blow.
Yeah, so that to say they all have that personality with them. It felt like they feel unique and individual.
We should probably mention, too, before we go much further here, that both Camilla and I have mentioned in this rule book, because we played an early version of this game and gave some feedback and basically play tested it. So just be aware of that. For full transparency, our names are in that rule book.
But also...
Tom's is not.
So if he gives a bad score, it's definitely not.
You can be warned. So this game, on initial look, there's going to be some comparisons to Wingspan, if only because of the eggs and the foods. Okay. No, I mean, I'm not saying gameplay at all. I don't even want to pretend that. But it has that look at first. But it does them in a different way.
Yeah.
And I don't love this game. I'll say that out already. I think it's fine. But I thought the food egg flow felt a little clunky to me. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt a little like, okay, here I get food, here I get eggs. And I especially disliked the roll. Which one do you roll for?
The egg.
The eggs, yeah.
I dislike that. A random resource isn't fun for me. Mm-hmm. Like, this turn I get it. This turn I don't. Why?
It leans into thematics, right?
Yeah, but I didn't find that part to be fun.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's an easy thing to forget, too.
That
happens a lot.
Yes.
Where you begin your turn and you jump right into actions and someone at the table inevitably has to go, don't forget your food. Or, you got to roll for the egg.
Right.
That happens a lot. So
I have to be reminded more than I remember.
Yeah. It's unfortunate there is no easy way to be like, and this prompts my brain to remember that. You just kind of have to brute force remember that.
Right.
And it is easy to forget. I'll agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the game is about, it's not a boss battler, but it's sort of a boss battler, right?
It's very much about, I guess you can kind of think of it that way. It's very much about leveling up. And the baddies level up too if you leave them around too long, and then fighting them off. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there is that, and I wish, again, there was a couple things I would have liked to see streamlined. One was the egg, and the food to the egg, and the other is the moving from locations inside and outside. I found that also to be kind of like, oh my word, okay, this can only be done inside, fine. This can only be done outside, but it didn't feel, that felt almost clunky, like, okay, go inside. Oh, I got to go outside now.
Okay.
But again, I don't want to. I'm not going to sit over and trash the game. I thought a lot of things. I thought the leveling up is always feels great. In this game, it feels super. Almost to the point where if you don't level up, you're like, oh my word, I want to level up.
Yeah, it's like you have to do that. And I would say I'm going to come in much higher, I suspect, than you. I like the game, but
there are a couple of issues with it, and I think that prescribed nature of each play session, where you have to level up, you need to do this. You know, there's a few things you don't do, and a few things you definitely do.
Yeah.
Right? So it feels a little prescribed, and then the other thing that I would harp on is it certainly can feel repetitive. I think it's one of those games that as you take actions, by the time you end all 3 seasons, you've done a couple of things quite a bit. Turns can feel repetitive.
I feel like, especially, I felt that the first couple plays of the game, where the second half of the game, when you get to the big boss battle at the end, it has that feel of go out, punch, fight, move back in to heal. Move back out to punch, fight, move back in. And that's how I felt those first couple plays, but the more I've played it, I think I've explored other strategies and other ways to get the food, which has mitigated that.
Yes.
But you are right, there is still a very limited number of things you can do on your turn, so it is going to feel very, very, I mean, your turns are, if you take a minute for your turn, you've taken a long turn.
Yeah, the
kind
game
of
is
thing.
the quick, snappy turns.
And so because of that, I think it does lend to that little bit of repetitive feel. To counterbalance that again, though, I think the variability comes with the uniqueness of your character as well as the bosses.
And you have to be using that stuff, or you'll feel, if you're not leaning into your special abilities, you're not drawing special cards,
Right.
You're just doing the basic things.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab food. I'm going to move and roll. Oh, I'm dying. If you don't don't lean into all the special things, the game comes across like a very punishing game.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I am glad that there are difficulty settings in this
10
game.
levels.
Yes.
So you can, mess around with that.
Yeah.
You can even kind of fudge it and make your own.
And he was telling me also that even the different bad guys, some of them are easier and harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the different people. And I felt that the chicks were very different.
Yeah.
Like,
They're interesting abilities. I think the fact that the game is kind of quirky. You said the egg thing and the whatever. You don't like that, but that allows for design space where that
yes,
stuff
I agree on that.
is utilized in an interesting way. I agree with you. I don't want to roll for an egg and randomly never get it. However, I might have the chicken that every time I roll and I miss, I eat instead. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa.
It was really...
Hold on, that's insanely good.
Right, it's really interesting.
It's folded into those ideas.
Yeah, I don't think the game is particularly hard. I harp on cooperative games. You can make it hard, but I think that you can also play on easy levels, which means you can play this with families.
Yes.
Right, back to the simplicity of the turn and just a couple different actions. Outside of knowing what you can take inside and what you can take outside, which the iconography on the board is very clear and helpful with that. Outside of that, I mean, there's 5 things to choose from to do, and they're all pretty basic. So I definitely think it's family, even down into kid weight.
And the game has a good story mode to it, right? Hey, we never went out and killed that bad guy. Now he is running the yard.
Yeah.
Now we got to go take care of him.
Yeah.
And you have to pick. There's definitely one bad guy, I can't remember which one it is, that I was like, we'll never allow that guy to be the final one again. Okay? Because it was like a pain, and we were like, we'll deal with that later. No.
Right, because they
Leave
level
the
up.
easy ones to later, because then they're easier to take out.
Yeah.
For me, overall, this one is so close. Again, amazing production. I like everything about the theming. I think that's fun. I think the game, for me, is a smidge longer than it needs to be. It says 25 minutes per player, which for 4 players is what, an hour and
Almost
40
2 hours,
minutes.
Yeah.
And that's because he said it's a little repetitive. I was like, And you can also fall into a spot where I'm like, I'm glad I'm here to help a little while I'm watching Zee and Camilla be awesome. If you get a level ahead of other people, you just level up a little faster.
Yeah.
You just get better. But that being said, great production, good thing. So I'm close. 6.5. I'm almost there. I would play this. I wouldn't say no to it. I think it's enjoyable. And if this is the first game from a company, good gracious, what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Either one.
I'm going to go. I don't know what your score is going to be, so we don't know which one's
Right.
higher. I'm going to come in at an 8 on this one. I already talked about how the game is a little repetitive, how it's a little prescribed, the path through it each time you play. But the game also is packed with those moments of, ooh, that's a good ability. Ooh, this card is a good thing.
Yes.
It has a lot of that. The little grubs, those stacks. There's always, it's rare that you're like, yeah, we can let that one go at the end of a turn. I don't care about that one. You want it all. That's a good feeling in a game. That feeling of, ooh, I want everything and I can't have everything. Ooh, I level up. Ooh, my second ability is amazing. You draw those helper cards. I'm like, ooh, you needed to heal? Boom, heal. Here's some food for you. Here, I love that feeling. So there's a lot of those moments in it. And the game feels cheerful. I don't know how to put that.
It's not doom and gloom, post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Even
It's
the
not
bad
a
guys,
dungeon
you're
crawler.
like, they're silly and named silly things. The whole thing has a generally cheerful vibe.
It's like Redwall, but even more cheerful than Redwall.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it an 8.
Yeah, I'm right there with you at A as well, and I really like what you were saying about just that cheerful nature and the tension of the turns. To be such quick turns and so few actions, it does a really good job of challenging you. We're like, I want everything. Okay, I have this food. I finally got food. Do I use it to power myself to go attack? Because that's great, and we need to start hitting this bad guy. Or do I use it to feed myself so that I can level up? And so there's interesting decisions throughout the whole game. So even though it can have that repetitive nature that we're talking about, how you actually handle your turn is very interesting. And I think that's what keeps it from feeling too repetitive, as well as it can run a little long time-wise, but I do like the feeling of powering up as you go. You think, okay, we're halfway point because we're down, we have half the character or half the baddies cleared off the board. We only have this last one and the big one. And once you're to that point, you're actually in the last third of the game. So when you're hitting,
it does snowball.
It does snowball. When you get to that big baddie at the end, you probably only have 2 turns left, because it's just, you're that powerful, you're coordinating that well together, you're cooperating, you've got the grub built up. So I really like the cadence. So even though it does go long a little bit time-wise, it doesn't necessarily feel it, So yeah, I really enjoy it. I came in at an 8.
Well, there you go, folks. That is Flock Together. I'm Tom Basil.
I'm Zee Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
Have fun.
What?
No, it's fine.
Make a chicken pun.
Oh, do it.
Be punny.
You need-
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. And you can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Basil.